Hello, everybody. I am Gaarawarr, and this is a new show. Normally, I would say this is Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything Untitled Champions, which it kind of is. But we are doing today the first of a new deeper dive type of Gaarawarr's Guides. So today's is Gaarawarr's Guides to Multi-Party and Modron Automation. We're going to do a super deep dive into that. Basically for the first hour-ish. So unlike usual, where I'm usually reading out of chat and answering lots of questions, today I am going to be going over a bunch of things I have on my screen here. They're topics for both multi-party and Modron to help everyone kind of understand those features. And we'll be demonstrating in the game where possible, in this game or in my other account over here. Boom. Which has fewer things in it. So we'll see how well that works, as usual. If you do have questions that come up about these topics as we're going, if you'll note down there, put question, colon, and then space, and then your question in front of your question to get it added to the Q&A at the end. I believe Sasha will be pulling questions for me. I'm not even going to look at that document until I get through all of this, though. So just know, thank you for participating in chat. Thank you as we do this new type of guide. And also, thank you to Dylan for letting me make a custom code for this new show. Down there, Multi-Party Modron. I created that. And, dun 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 dun, it gives you a Modron chest. You're welcome, chat. I love you too. I know everyone likes that because they're so hard to get. Yay! Don't expect that for everything. That's just today. So, we're going to dive in here. Like I said, we'll take however long it takes to go over all these features in depth as we go through it. And then we'll do the Q and the A at the end. Real quick, though. Happy 3rd anniversary, Idle Champions. This is awesome. I have now, this literally, I think... the 19th? So maybe, I think the 19th is my actual anniversary date of starting the game, but this is super cool. So, we're going to fire off Gaarawarr's Guide to Multi-Party and Modron Automation. So, for those of you who don't know, there is a feature in the game currently still in beta at the moment as of doing this stream. 2 features in one, or that released at the same time. The multi-party mode, which allows you to run multiple parties at once, and Modron automation, which both lets you automate certain features of the game and provides you a nice little mini game that gives you lots of buffs for progression. So first we're going to talk about multi-party mode. Starting with what the heck is it? Basically, it is a system that we'll find right here with this Adventuring Parties button. You can find it here in a game, or you can find it here on the map screen at the top right. When you click on it, it brings up... originally, it will bring up a thing that says, hey, would you like to join the multi-party mode? And you will attempt to complete a mission called Split the Party to get it. But once you have done that, you get this screen where you show your current event you're in, and then like an adventure party, and then another adventure party that you have. You can name them whatever you'd like, and you can switch between them. So basically it lets you do multiple things at once, and use a few more of those champions that you have sitting on your bench. So why did they add this to the game? Like I said, basically there became a point where everyone was asking why, we have 50 plus champions, I think back when they first started teasing this idea. Now we're almost to 70. What are we going to do with the other, the others that are just sitting there? And multi-party mode gets you something to do with that. They have stated they are going to add more parties in the future. So once it comes out of beta, then everything's nice and polished. We will most likely see a 3rd party and maybe even a 4th party or more. Nice. You also want to be able to do more of the content in the game at the same time. There have been added a lot of things as the game has progressed. Not just, if we go to the campaign map, multiple campaigns. We're up to 4 at the moment. Our permanent endless campaign of the Grand Tour of the Sod Karst, and then the story-based campaigns that have an ending. Tomb of the Annihilation, Waterdeep, Dragon Heist, Baldur's Gate, Descent into Avernus. Soon to come, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden. Should be out soon. Plus, you've also got time gates you can do, patron variants you can do. There's a lot going on. Events, when the events are live. People wanted to be able to do multiple things at once. This allows you to do it. So again, to access multi-party mode, you're going to want to find this button on your screen. Now, if it's not there, don't fret. There is a requirement for multi-party mode. One of the things you need is to have at least 2 champions in each of these bench slots. So as you can see, I have lots of champions in each of my bench slots, but if you are newer, you might only have the one core champion that you get. You may have unlocked a couple event champions, but maybe you don't have them all. So one of the first kind of things people are doing now is working to kind of fill out their bench so that they have at least 24 champions, 2 in each slot. Once you get to about, I believe, 8, if you have 2 in 8 of the 12 slots, you'll see the button, but it will then tell you you need to have 12. Once you get 12, then you can click on this. You'll want to do it, you'll want to leave an adventure. We are currently in one of the new adventures for the Descent into Avernus Part 6 that came out today, Tiamat's Army, but we have finished, so we can conclude. You will want to come out to your map screen as we jump through this. From here, and you will then want to come in and open up this screen, because you can't start until you actually have unlocked multi-party mode. You can't start another adventure while you're in one. You will come over here to unlock a new party. This will actually have an unlock button. When you click it, it will take you to the split the party adventure. Now, this isn't necessarily a guide to split the party, but I will say a few things about split the party. Split the party wants you to have a variety of champions, obviously, at least 2 in each slot, but if you have more, that's great. Because at a few different times during that adventure, it is going to take half of your formation away. So you need to have a number of viable champions to be able to push through this and get all the way to completion. The current strategy, as of making this tutorial, is to start off with just a couple of champions, maybe 2 to 4, because since it takes half, you may as well, it rounds up, so you may as well go to either stay on the even numbers. 2 to 4 to get through kind of the first part. There's a super difficult boss at level 15. At that point, ramp up to whatever you personally need, whether it's 4 or 6 or 8, whatever you need to get past that boss. You will lose half at the next kind of checkpoint, but you'll have made it past the hardest boss in the adventure. At that point, it's fairly straightforward to complete. You'll lose champions a couple more times, but after the last removal, you can max out your team and kind of stomp your way through the rest of the adventure. You only have to get to level 50, but what makes it somewhat difficult is that you don't get any favor bonuses. You can't earn favor in this adventure like by restarting and doing it again. There's none of these things that normally apply to a regular adventure to help you, other than what you bring in, global blessings, global perks, those kinds of things. So once you've completed Split the Party, you will have access to this screen to start your new adventures. Now, how do we use this? So we can swap back and forth. Obviously, you can start a run here, which we will do. We'll just jump over to the Sword Coast. We'll do what most people do with their multiple parties. We'll hop in, load a formation, and maybe farm some gems. Like, maybe my speed farm formation. For any of you who are wondering. Let's just randomly select some things. We'll do the speed on all the appropriate speed-based champions. Just going to click through all of these. Now, once you've got them set up and going, and you want to start your second adventure, I'll let them transition into 3 so we know everything's saved. There we go. Now we're going to open it up again. Come over. Just hit the green switch button. It's going to swap you over to your new adventuring party momentarily. This will let you go anywhere you want. What you can't do, the one thing you can't do is come back over here and do another... that was odd. Another Mad Wizard, because I'm already doing Mad Wizard. It would kind of block me from that. However, I could fire up a patron, one of my patrons, and do Mad Wizard on those. Or I could do any of the other bajillion adventures that are available for me to do. So we'll just jump back over here. Since we were doing these, I'll hop into one of the new variants. and load up this party to demonstrate. Now, as you can see, it couldn't load in what was previously the starting champion because it's already in use. If we come down here and look, you'll see Deacon is in a different party. So it's going to just default to a new champion. When I go to put out familiars, suddenly I'm not getting, say, the mage hand first like I would normally, because all of those familiars are in use in that other party, and I just ran out. Look. So I have a bunch of familiars in another party. Champions and familiars are unique to the party, adventuring party you're in. You can pull them over. If I want Deacon, I can click here. It will pull him out of this other adventure. However, it says he's level 990. He is in that other adventure. He won't be here. He will go back to 1. So this is important to keep in mind when you're doing multi-party mode. Utilizing it to do multiple adventures, it isn't a way to level 1 up somewhere and then transfer them over. So you will need to build out an entirely new party over here. We'll just add a bunch of people at random, and suddenly we have an adventuring party. Not the most ideal right here, but for demonstration's sake, it will work. So when do you want to use this? Like I said, whenever you want to do multiple things at once. Now keep in mind, the party that is in the background, we had set this up as a speed push. Right now it's kind of utilizing a different form of progression, much more akin to offline progression. The speed functions aren't working over there, so the way I currently use it is I will do my speed runs in my active party, and then I'll do a formation like this. Well, not exactly like this one, but a formation where I want to push deep in something else. I will set that formation up, then I will switch over, back over to my speed party. And this I will gain use of all their speed abilities in that foreground adventure or active adventure. It gives you a little readout of what it's been doing since you were gone. I will pop in my Imps there for Havelar, and we will get to it. So when do you use these kinds of things? Like I said, when you're looking to do multiple things at once, some people use them all the time. Some people just focus on one thing at a time. Currently, because of the slower mechanics of the background, if they don't need to do a deep push anywhere, they're not super worried about it. But it's going to kind of be up to you as to how you want to do it. Ideally, once everything gets worked out and everything's working smoothly, again, there are bugs being addressed and functionality being added all the time. Once you get everything going and we have multiple parties, you can do things like on Mondays when patron challenges reset, assign a party to each of your different patrons and let them do their thing in the background while you're doing something else in the foreground. Basically, it's going to give you a little more freedom in what you're doing any given day. So it's a fairly straightforward feature. Once you see, it is literally just the game times however many parties you have. Set it up and let it do its thing. Generally speaking, tips and tricks from the community. Like we just said, speed champs don't really work in the background. So if you want to run these super speedy formations, somewhat like this one, I won't say this is the speediest formation ever, but for whatever reason my Shandy isn't speeding up here. But that's neither here nor there. Basically, you want to run those in the active party. You want to make sure that you're utilizing all of those advantages from those champions in a party that it's going to actually get credit in. Use those deep, slow pushes for the background party, or if you have something like, I don't know, a patron 1,000 levels with no support, and you just don't want to see it in the foreground because it's so slow. Do that one in your background party. Get that credit while you're doing something else. For those of you who do like to gem farm, again, this is where you do it. This is the fastest way to do these into grant gems. Your background party will be progressing and earning some gems, but if you want the bulk of your gem gain from running something like Mad Wizard repeatedly, best done in the foreground. In general, we usually see questions, and again, this is something, if you have questions about the Modron multi-party specifically, Modron will be up next, but multi-party specifically, go ahead and toss them in chat with the question. We'll get to them at the end. But generally speaking, frequently asked questions are things like, do the potions work in background parties? They do. The speed ones, not necessarily. Again, background is more of an offline type progression, but you can do all your other potions and run all that stuff and go crazy wild. Just depends on what you're trying to do in the background. Why is progress so slow in the background party? We see this a lot. Again, it is using a form of offline progress. There was actually a fix that went out today in the change log that talked about, down here somewhere, that talked about progress occasionally getting halted in the background. So just test things out. If it's still running slow for you or it's stalling out in your progress, make sure you're submitting a ticket so that we can fix things like that. And then how do I use a champ familiar that's already in my other party? So this does go for both champs and familiars. There is a way to click and pull over, and we will demonstrate here in this slot, which we're not actively using. Once you punch it, it gives you a confirmation pop-up that makes sure you want to do this, because you are losing your progress over there with that, and you're going to have a hole in your party until you swap over. So we'll give that a big yes. It's going to do its little thinking wheel here. And when it's done, Cradle will be available to use. So you can see locked recalling. It tells you, gives you a little pop-up and says that, well, we're trying to do the thing that you requested. Give us a second. Once it's able to do that, you'll have them available to use. I have a feeling I'm actually progressing through these zones so quickly that it's not getting to call him forward real quick. The same is true with familiars. You can unassign from somewhere else usually. These are in the other party. It looks like actually now you're going to have to... No, that's the skin. You have to go back, pull them out, and then bring them over so they don't have the same functionality. We do have Cradle now, so if I wanted to like throw him in, we could. Boom. Now we have Cradle active. But he doesn't have to stay there. You could then go back and swap him back into your other party, bounce him back and forth, but you will have to level him each time you do that. So you are losing a bit of the gold there, so make sure that that's something you want to do and not just something you're doing on accident. And in general, rounding out, just a couple frequently asked questions. Will there be more parties to unlock? Yes, they have talked about, once this feature is full and complete, and they've done not only bug squashed as much as possible, but also polished and added quality of life features, then we will most likely see more parties in the future. So that is going to be it for multi-party. Now we dive into what was arguably the bigger part of the multi-party Modron release. We get into Modron automation. A little simple just to call it Modron automation. It is both Modron automation and kind of a buff-based progression system, not unlike blessings and perks that are already in the game, that have allowed quite a bit of progress to be made and things to be completed that weren't previously available. So what is Modron automation in general? In general, it's a system that lets you automate certain functions of the game. Specifically, it allows you to automate the formations that you use. It will automate the reset zone. Like if I'm going through this and I want to run Mad Wizard quickly and then have it reset for me automatically while I'm doing other things, this is what I can set the zone I want, and I'll demonstrate how to do that, and then it'll reset automatically and then load my formation in. And it'll also let you automatically use potions of your choice based on certain levels. So you can kind of plan out a run that you want to repeat and do over and over and over again. And I'll demonstrate all of that in a moment. The point of this is, again, automation, freeing up your time. Originally, the first kind of automation stuff that we had were familiars. Familiars are their own automation system. Familiars will add... they can go to any of these places, as I hold down the F key, any of the highlighted places, and do all of these things on their own automated. So they're out on the field, they're clicking, they're picking up items, they're killing distractions. If they're down here on the ultimate areas, they're firing off ultimates. If they're down here on the upgrade bars, they're both purchasing and leveling champions or click damage. So they do quite a bit of things. They are that form of automation. However, when we go into Modron automation, we'll see that it's much more specific just to their three things, and they don't cross over. So you want to combine familiars with your Modrons to make all the fun things happen. What it isn't, though, is it isn't a full scripting automation system. Again, it is targeted specifically at those three things. It's not going to do everything for you. You're still going to need to check in and update things, and some things aren't necessarily going to be covered. So I'm going to keep that in mind. But again, it's also a progression system. We're going to hop in here. This is where you see if you have a Modron core slotted. I have one here. It's going to color in with the little golden eye. Little James Bond reference. And then it's going to be black and white if you don't have one. If you click on this here, or if you click on it here, you get the ability to then click and load. Like I can go to none, I can swap this over to here and open it up there. Or I can just go back to none and put it back over here where I want it, because this is the formation I'm going to want to automate. So we will talk about that here. They do give you the ability to buy additional cores. Right now there is only one additional core. You get one free as a reward, your default core, for finishing Split the Party. You'll also get some Modron chests, which we'll talk about here in a moment. So you don't have to buy anything right away. This is a very hefty purchase. This is not something that you have to worry about immediately. So if we hop in, once you have unlocked multi-party and Modron automation, you come in, you'll load in your core, and you click on it, and you come to this screen, which will usually be very empty when you start. This is my currently leveled up to 12, as we see down here, Modron core. If we want to see a more empty core, a view of more what you would be seeing when you first start, we'll hop over to my other account. This is what you see when you start. You will have a very empty field. There will only be a few of these squares open. This is actually level 2, so I have some more placeable squares open here. But you'll get a few here, and you'll have a handful of pieces. You won't have this epic one. This was a freebie. But all of these others, these white and these green and this one blue, you'll have automatically. The point of the mini game here is to connect your output node that has your flow with endpoint nodes that have buffs. So as we see, one of the first ones you get is a gold find buff, and one of the other first ones you get is a damage buff for all champions. These are obviously very nice things to have at any point in the game. That's something you want. The other thing you want to hook up is this automation component. So you cannot automate. We don't have any setup automation. I'm clicking. We can't set up any automation with our core until we hook up pipes to this. So you can go just real simple and do something like this, and it will light up. You will see, when you hook things up correctly, you will see the bubbles come through the pipes and spread out into different areas, and you'll see the little gears hook up here with the bubbles. This means now our automation is lit up and we can actually use it. So we're going to come back to the pipe game in a minute. And we're going to look specifically at automation, because that is the first key of this. If you click over here, you will see the 3 options you have for automating with your Modron cores. Now keep in mind, you can automate as many parties as you have based off as many cores as you have. So we have 2 parties and we have 1 core on this account. So all I can do, I could have to pick which party I want to automate, and the buffs also only apply to the party that I have the core active on. Once we get here, I can choose which of these 3 or none to automate. If I don't want to automate at all, if I'm just doing deep pushes, I can have my core active and gain the benefits of the buffs from the core, but not necessarily automate. This is important. This is one of the ways you level up your core, because you get, as you know here from the little tooltip, you get 1 XP for every level you complete. So you want to have your core in a group that's actually actively doing lots of things. Generally better to have it in that active foreground party, especially if you're, super fast grinding through Mad Wizard or something to gain levels. Once you want to set this up, you just click it on for each one. We don't have a formation set for the selected campaign, so we just click this square. I only have 1 formation saved, so this is the only one I can use for this, but it will automatically load in the formation I've chosen. If I want to change a formation and create a new one specifically for automation, I can go do that and save my formation. Again, that's separately out in the main part of the game. And then if I want my specializations locked in, I can click on specializations. You'll see it's pre-filled for some of these because I had already leveled them up out in the main game and chosen a specialization, but in some, when I saved that formation, but I hadn't saved here. So basically you click on an empty area, you get to choose ahead of time which specializations you want. When your familiars level up your champions, because remember, familiars are who buy and level champions, When they level up your champions to this point, the system, the automation will automatically choose your specialization based off what you picked here. You can also, if you want to, just click on this and change it around. If you want to swap up your formation, or you want to change specifically for this automation run which is being used, you can do it that way as well. Once you're done, just close it, you're locked in. Now you can also come down here. If you'll see, there's a little list. This is a drop down of all the adventures and any available events. We can choose what we want. We can run Grand Tour. I have 2 Grand Tours. I think the naming's a little off here. One of these is going to be for, this one is for patrons. So they'll be updating that to show that that's the patron version. That's one of those polish features that they need to finish. And then you can pick whatever you want. You can set that up ahead of time. And what that means is the next time you go and do one of those adventures in that patron or in that campaign, it will be set to use the formation and specializations you've chosen. It doesn't mean, what it doesn't mean is that when this run resets, it's going to switch over to that campaign. It's going to keep you in the one that you're currently in and just reset based off what you've chosen for this campaign. So once you have this set up, you can come over here and pick your area goal based off however far you want to push. If there's certain patron requirements that make you want to push deeper, you can. If you're just trying to set up gem farming, you can choose one of the presets, or you can just click down here and enter in whatever your target goal is. Click out, it's going to highlight. Now your custom goal is there. You can even take this up. Ooh. Can we get over 1,000 yet? Nope. But I can do 999. At some point, CNE, we're going to have to add that 4-digit increment. So you can reset. However, if you can get here, you can reset. Remember, it has to complete the zone you set the reset for, or else it won't automatically reset. So take care when you're choosing your automation set area goal feature. We won't make it this far, so we'll back this up a bit. If I was going, I'm not going to set this because I'm not in a farming run on this account, but then you would just enable it and fire away, which, like that. I think I'm safe at 350. I won't be completing the requirements here. Enable that. Now for the set buffs, you want to come over here and click the little plus sign down at the bottom. It slides out a little potion window. You will see any potions you have available. This is an account that doesn't have anything really available. But if I wanted to, this is how I would do this. I would click on one of these. It's going to drop in a huge potion of giant strength, activate at area. You click here, and again, you can punch in whatever area you want. Right? 1, you can do it. Basically, when it resets or when it reaches this area for the first time during a run, it will fire off a potion. You can set this up for multiple potions. Remove them out. If you ever run out of potions, it just automatically disables it, so it's not going to pull those. But keep in mind, if you ever open up chests and get those potions again, it does automatically put them back here because you did add that in. And then you hit the minus, you close it off, set your buffs, enable whatever you want, and away you go. So that is how you activate the automation part. Again, we will hop over to my other account here in a moment, and I'll let you see. We'll set it to a level that I'm coming up on, and you'll see what happens as it automates that. The other major feature of here is this kind of mini game with pipes and flows. A lot of people refer to it just as the pipe game. We get a lot into playing the pipe game if you have lots of questions, because it can be, the pipe game is very much about the components that you have and how to utilize them. And everyone's going to get different components because the components come from chests. So RNG is a big factor here. There is a channel in the Discord, hashtag Modron Core Layout. Head over there and ask questions, post pictures. People are great about helping you up your pipe game. But with these first pipes that you get, they're giving you a very specific way that they want you to basically split up your pipes or utilize these pipes if we remove them to get a big buff. So the pipes can be different. Some are these generic, the plain white tees. No, there are no tees actually in white, but the plain white pipes, there's the green, the uncommon, the rare blues, and of course the epic purples. But if you'll notice, there are also some tiny little green arrows on these that will give you directed flow, as opposed to just going wherever it wants. Like this T isn't directed, but you know it's a T, so it's going to split based off where you're putting things. But over here, I think we'll see these green arrows are pushing that flow straight down. So you can't use this in something that would normally you would want the flow going up because the arrows are going the wrong way. Fortunately, we want to come down right out of the entry. We want to go right into a T to hit this automation. And then over here, we want to curve down and then drop a straight pipe right into this first buff. As you can see, it lights up. Now our flow is only at 0.61. It started out at 1, but we got it split down here. Right? It was buffed here, and then split here, and split and buffed, and then comes around to here. Now, flow is part of the pipe game. As you get more and more pieces, and we'll look at that on my other account, you ramp up your flow to get higher level buffs. So you see flow, anything below 2 is going to get you that base buff, the first one there. As it levels up, you can hit 3 other tiers, so 4 total. Ideally, you want to get flow greater than 4 across all of your nodes, but that is basically going to take you quite a lot of pipes and some good RNG and some good pipe game mastery to get there. Now, we still have another node here as we're just starting. This kind of area here is what unlocks at level 1. Again, I'm level 2, and that unlocked this upper left area. Each level is going to unlock different areas and different nodes, as you can see, all the way up to level 15. Which is the max. But we will focus right down here. We're going to then want to curve and come down so that we can go right into that pipe. This is basically your starter pipe setup. This is what you want to do when you first unlock your core. They will give you all of these pipes for free. This is the starter pack. They will also give you, I believe it's 4 component chests when you complete Split the Party. You get your Modron core and 4 component chests, which you can open. I won't be opening them over here. I'll show you what it looks like when you open them on my other account. But this is how you would set up your core. This is exactly how you set up your core. This is what the pieces are made for, why they're given to you, so that you can build this exact formation. And that lights everything up right away. So you're guaranteed to get both automation and your first 2 nodes at level 1, no matter what your RNG is out of your chests. All the pieces out of your chests, that's to help you as you unlock more and more and more nodes. So keep that in mind. So for now, we will hop back out here, and we will let it do its thing on this account. We'll hop back over to my main account. Again, you see a higher level core, lots and lots of pipes. We will get into all that pipe magic here in a moment. But let's just hit on a few hot button topics. So again, how do you access the pipe game? The Modron automation, again, it's unlocked the same way you unlock multi-party. You want to come over here, you'll do this. You'll do your new party with Split the Party. Once you finish Split the Party, you get both multi-party mode and Modron automation at the same time. So it's kind of a double bonus. Once you open this screen, again, from the Adventuring Party button down here in the UI, click on your core, and you'll automatically come over here to set up automation. Now, this is my normal grinding group. So this is what I use for speed farming Mad Wizard. I'm going to come out and see what level we're on. We're on 170-ish, so let's set this to reset at 175. And we will demonstrate real quickly what that looks like. I'm not going to load any potions in, but if you'll notice, boom. Lots and lots of potions. You could throw these in and set up the levels as well. I usually only use speed potions for grinding, but I'm out. Now we're about to complete 175. I killed the boss. It resets. Because I have both a formation and familiars saved in that formation, you'll see it automatically loads all the champions in the proper formation, starts leveling them up. You'll see there's no pop-ups for choosing specializations. We're flying past that features. I'm already in the 1200 for a Sentry, so we flew right through all the level ups. That's Favor will help you level up real quick, folks. So So everything is set up, and it will just automate and do this over and over and over again every time it hits 175. That's it. You can add, if you're doing fast runs, you can do speed potions, which is, I said, that's what I usually do. That's why I don't have, I'm actually out of the small speed potions. I like to use, personally, I like to use the smallest, like the 5 minute and the 15 minutes. I'm out of the 15 minutes. I've got one of the 5 minutes though. Here, let's set this up for, hey. Let's set this up for, yeah, 25 would work. Oh, we'll do it on 30. And we'll enable, and we'll hop out here. When it gets to 30, it'll automatically pop that potion, which will then last for 5 minutes. Pretty straightforward on how all of those features work. The key thing to remember is that if you are not using familiars in your formation, if you don't have familiars, then you're not going to be able to automatically add champions and level them up. That will be something you have to do manually. It will still do your resets. It'll still add your potions. It will still load the formation, but you have to come over just like you would normally without familiars and level up all your champions and choose. The specialization choice will still automatically choose once you reach it, though. I think we talked about why it exists and how you access it. So how to use it, we went over most of that. I think really the only thing that we didn't talk about at how to use it is basically building out kind of the end game, what some people call buff boxes, others call honeycombs. These little groups of directed flow that you'll see here. This is basically how you maximize your flow. So as we start here, I'm entering and out. I'm leaving the start point. I'm hopping into this T. It's getting buffed by 20%, but it's also splitting. So as you can see, it drops down to 0.6 flow. Now, the output, though, is down here, and suddenly we're at 11.6. So how do we get from 0.6 to 11.6? Well, we get there with a combination of all of these multipliers, but also by splitting the flow and then recombining it into one. This is the feature that you want to use repeatedly to ramp up your flow. As you'll see, we drop right into another set here. Because I leave at 11.6, I go into a four-way split. Well, 1 in, 3 out, as we put it, undirected, and I come out at 464. So that needs to go up again if I want to keep things purple. And we run through a quick little buff box here, and I come out at almost 30 flow. So we repeat this every time that we need to raise our flow, and that's what keeps everything on this screen purple. Now you'll see it's a lighter shade of purple here and here and here than it is, say, here. That doesn't matter currently. Currently, purple is purple, so as long as you're greater than 4, you're getting the max buffs. One thing to note is you do not have to go into your automation node right away. In fact, if you're not going to automate, you don't have to go into it at all. But I came in here later just because it worked out better for me with the pipes that I had to just drop in after I had come over this way and drop out, because specifically if I had split it more earlier, this would have been below 4. I didn't want that. So these are decisions you have to make. It's also going to be, again, based off what kind of pieces you have. This is after 12 levels and many, many weeks of getting chests, Modron chests from patrons. And we also got, if you put in your code, a Modron chest today. You can click open chests from this screen. It'll take you over here, and let's see what I got. So I got a bunch of whites. Ooh! I got a 2 in, 2 out epic cross piece, which is super nifty. And then a directed straight with a little bit of a multiplier. I don't know that this is going to help me with my current plan, but sometimes it's real good when you get a lot of new pipes. Just trash everything and start over. I've done this many times on stream. I'll do it on my channel right down there, twitch.tv/Gaarawarr. Sometimes when I get to a level and I just want to try to rebuild everything from scratch, I will remove all of these pieces and start over and build it live on stream. Just because sometimes you get a better idea of like you get out of this forced mentality in your head of, well, I've already done this and I've got to go do something different, and you'll come up with something that works even better potentially than what you had before, because you have new pieces and a new frame of mind. So keep that in mind. So when should you use Modron automation? I mean, all the time? I have my game open while I'm at work. I work from home, so I'll have it up on one screen. And nowadays, it just sits over there and runs Mad Wizard over and over and over and over again, and farms gems like I was showing you. So this is pretty true, except normally I reset. I have a lot of favor in Sword Coast, so I reset higher. But if you have lower favor, you figure out where your click damage wall is, so where you stop instant killing with your familiar clicks, and you would set it there. I can go super high. As you see, we used the small potion of speed. Now it says none available, so it won't reuse these when we reset. But if we come back out, you'll see I do have my potion ticking. Now I don't know that I'm going to have any more anytime soon, so what I'm going to do is just disable this and remove it, and I'm good. So this is usually what it looks like if I'm not running potions. And it will do that all day, all night if I want it to. So there's no reason not to use your automation. It is, we'll jump into tips and tricks real quick a little early. It is much better to have if you're trying to level up your core, which means getting as many levels as possible, as quickly as possible, it is best to be doing this in your active foreground formation. Again, the background formation in multi-parties, you can automate it back there since you're not sitting there, but it's going to be moving slower because it's not going to be getting the benefits of speed champions. And it does work at a slower pace, like more akin to offline progress than, your active progress. So in general, there's no reason not to have some kind of Modron automation going, whether it's in your foreground or background party, depending on what you're looking to do. Because why not? Like at the very least, have it farming gems. Even if all you're doing is going 15 levels and having it reset every 15 levels. Not super optimal, but you're still going to get more than you would normally get out of it. And that's kind of the point of both multi-party and Modron automation. It's more progress for the same amount of time. Keep in mind that you don't have to have any automation active to use this. If all I want to do is access all of these buffs, which is when you hover over your starting point here, you'll get a breakdown of all the buffs you're currently getting from the core. If I just want to use these to deep push and I don't care about automation, I can just turn it all off and use the core for that. I can even swap my core while I'm doing a run. Oh, I always forget. Clicking on the eye is actually what takes you in there. Swap it out. Swap this one in, and then I can go do something with this party. And then if I want, like maybe I want to beat a really hard boss, and then I'm fine. And then I'm going to go back. You can do whatever you want. Or maybe I just want to. Maybe I'm just starting out, and what I want is to kill some things and get a ton of gold. Because this Modron core that I have here has a lot of gold find on it. Maybe I just want to get a ton of gold at the start of this run, level up my champ super high because I'm not going to go actively pay attention to them, and maybe I don't have enough familiars to level them up automatically. And then once I do that, and then I can just swap the core back and go back to automating. You can do any and all of these combinations, whatever suits you, whatever suits your needs. Try it out and do it. If you run into any issues, submit a ticket. Down here from the little button and the support button, there is a new page that they have created specifically that lists off a bunch of the bugs, active bugs. You can just +1 anything that you've run into, add comments if you think it adds to the conversation, or add a new bug yourself. You can also give feedback over there as well. They are currently actively working through all of that stuff. So to continue kind of into the tips and tricks, keep in mind automation, again, isn't just for background parties. We see a lot of people who think that the only thing that you should be automating is the one in the background. Not true at all. Don't lock yourself into that mentality. You can automate whichever one you want. I have that listed twice, literally all the time. And then seriously, though, there's no reason not to have a core active and automating at all times. Remember that your core XP, you gain it based on completing levels. So that's why a lot of people, when they first get their core, just go into 24/7 Mad Wizard farming like this. Not necessarily these champions, but just running these quick click damage, and just cycling just to level up the core. It does cap at 15. Every level gets you a Modron chest. The only other way to get Modron chests, other than the code you got today, right down there, is in the patron store. I've already bought mine this week on each of them, but they are 5,000 currency from each patron. You will need the influence to unlock these. There is only one a week, so this is currently how you would get them. Presumably, as they add more patrons, they'll have these same purchases, like the way they've always done for consumables like this. And you'll be able to buy more each week. But early on, it's kind of a slow burn, as I like to call it. You're going to slowly gain pieces. You're going to slowly progress and build up your flow. And that's fine. You don't have to be epic right away. Those bonuses multiply against each other. So having lots of those bonuses and those nodes just lit up is going to help you. Sometimes better than just pushing one as high as it can go. Because that's the nature of math. So keep that in mind. Again, the biggest thing you're going to want to learn is building a buff box, even if it's just a little 4-pipe box. So this is kind of the simplest box you can make. Let me turn off the tooltips up here so I don't cover everything. But you flow into a T. This is even undirected. I've got 2 undirected T's here because I'm going into an endpoint. I come around a corner, again undirected, because it's a really simple box. And if this was an undirected T here, that would still work, because we would still kind of get the flow. It is better, actually it wouldn't work. You have to have a directed coming out. See? You have to have a directed coming out, because otherwise an undirected would see flow coming in here and try to push it out here, and try to push it out here. So this is where having the directed pieces comes in. When you get into a more complex one, like we came in here, let's turn the tooltip back on, at 22.3. Now we did split here, but we ended at 73.65. So even though we split here, we still ended almost 3 times, well, over 3 times where we were at because of our multipliers and how we left out. So this can ramp up super fast. You want to keep that in mind. This is a bigger buck box, more complex. Right out the gate, all but one of these pieces is directed, so you have to pay attention to where all of these arrows are going. So this is an out to the left, this is a down. This is everything going to the left all the way through here, and these going down. These are coming in from the top and going left. This is a 3 in, 1 out. This is a super piece for a cross piece for building a buff box with, just because it lets you multiply and just have a super high level output. Keep in mind, this says 333.3. That's not what it normally is. If we take this up here real quick, this is a 10% bonus cross piece. But what happens is when you put it into this spot, it becomes a 333.3% bonus because you are maximizing all of the inputs. And that's one of the ways you can just really maximize your flow. Now, lots of people build these in different ways, so don't take this as the only way you can build them, even with some of my designs. There's places where I could have more buff boxes. I would put them there. I don't have the pieces for them. So even I go back and try to upgrade as I look through this regularly with all of these pieces that I have over here. I can't use them all, and they're not all worth it right away. That's something to keep in mind. One of the things you can do that I haven't done yet is if you have a piece that just isn't worth it to you anymore, if you click on this wrench, you can dismantle your components. You can choose with the slider or the click how many you want to dismantle, and then it tells you you're dismantling 1. You're going to get 1 component out of it. This is from a white. Now, if we click off of that and go all the way up, you get more for each rarity. If I want to dismantle 1 epic, I get 125 pieces. So what do you do with component pieces? As you'll see, I've got a bunch down here. You switch into upgrade mode. Anything that isn't an epic lights up. You can upgrade anything that isn't already an epic piece. And when you upgrade it, it becomes a nicer piece. It goes upgrade in rarity and gets you the next level for this specific piece of bonus. So a generic corner will upgrade to a green 5%. If I go to a generic 10%, if you'll notice, like a blue 10%, it will go to a 20%. So you get different values. If we look at a directed 10%, goes to 20%. This blue is going to go to 40. So it's just going to bounce around based off what you're looking at. Like here's a green 5 that'll go to 10. That's usually what you get out of these. So you get an upgrade of these. Each one comes with a cost. It takes 10 components to go to green. Green to blue is 50. And blue to epic is 250. So this is more of a long-term thing. I have not actually dismantled anything yet. You'll see these component pieces. This is from closed beta when we were originally testing. I had a lot of leftover component pieces, but I haven't dismantled yet because I know I'm still building out my first Modron, and at some point I'm going to want to buy that second one, and I'm going to need pieces to flesh that one out too. So I was just patient early on and didn't bother. I was still able to epic everything out without upgrading. So you can get there. It's just be patient with this system. This is a long-term system that requires rests heavily on RNG out of your chests. So the more chests you open, the more of a chance you have to flesh everything out. Because you don't want to dismantle something that you think isn't useful right now, but then later is something you would have wanted, and then you can't get that piece to drop. So keep that in mind. Let's see, building buff boxes, dismantle pieces. Yep, we covered all of those. And again, you can swap your party. Just a reminder, you can swap your core in between parties just to get stuff done. The general frequently asked questions, and then we're going to hop into... How are we doing on time? Not bad. Well, I almost nailed that hour thing, folks. Generally frequent asked questions right away. How do I level my cores faster? We kind of touched on that already. Basically, just churn as many levels as you can with speed formations. That is what we're doing here. I'm running this speed formation. You'll see I have, if we go back in here, I have 6,088 out of 52,000 XP for my next level. I just leveled this core up a couple days ago, folks. So, you know, when you're running those fast parties, speed parties in your foreground, and just having it reset continually throughout your day, if you have the ability to do that, it's going to level up pretty quickly. If I was just doing like you saw on my other account, if it was just kind of offline progress, doesn't level up very fast. That one's still on level 2. How do I get more pipes? Again, the only ways, well, I guess there's one way that isn't normal to get pipes, and that is sometimes during events like the one we have, like this anniversary celebration, they might give you a free pipe. We had one for the summer celebration because it came out around the same time as Multi-Party and Modron came out in beta, and we got that free epic you saw on my other account. But the normal ways to get them are, again, leveling up your Modron core. So every time you get a level, you're going to get one Modron chest, and then when you hit 15, that's it. You can't get chests by leveling up anymore. And then the other way is through the patron shop, and then of course, if you want to support the game via your cash, you can come over here and buy chests. All the chests, huge piles of chests. Sometimes they come up in wild offers as well. I don't have a wild... Oh, I do have a wild offer active. And this is one with Modron chests. So as you'll see, I get a familiar in this wild offer. 23 Modron component chests, which is a lot. And a bunch of other stuff along the way. And if we look, 23 Modron components. This is a $20 wild offer. Oh, that's the wrong button. So normally, $20 gets you 16 chests and no familiar or potions or anything. Well, wait, wrong kind of chest. Still, same price. 16 chests, no familiar, no potions. So these wild offers can be a great way if you're going to throw cash at the game to get Modron chests. Super viable when they pop up in a wild offer. What level should I set my gem runs to reset on is a big one because, again, like I said, a lot of people are using these. You level up your click damage, as you'll see over here. And then you'll throw your familiars on the field with your speed champions. Basically, you set it roughly around wherever you think you're going to run out of click level damage. So as you'll note here, mine is at 264. I'm only on 146. So I can easily get to 250, maybe even 300. That's me with E42 favor in this campaign. So based off your favor, you're going to have to take kind of one run with the formation you want to use, with your familiars out and leveling things up, and see how far you can get while you're instantly killing like we are here. Like you'll see, the moment they load in, they're dead. Right? That's what you're looking for. Once that stops is when you want to reset. With Mad Wizard specifically, it's usually optimal if you're running certain speed champions to stop on either a 30, like around a 30, or an 80, like to set it around there. That has to do with how fast certain portals are here and certain champions spawn things. That's getting really grainy into that. You can always talk to people about that in the new player channel or in the tavern in the Discord. What happens when I use up all my potions? Well, as it showed there, it shows gives you a little indicator that says that you don't have any more, and it can no longer load those in. At that point, I tend to just remove them. If you leave them in, when you open chests, it will load them back in. As long as it has some to pull, it will pull them out. Can I automate my event free plays? You can. This is a big deal. This is how I churn through all of my tokens. You can set it to automate just like you would anything else. You set up your formation, you set up your level that you want it to do. So if you just want to burn through all of your tokens at the end of an event, you've got a bunch of them, and you just want those free play to 51s. You set up the free play you want to run it in. So I set my reset level to 51, just a habit of mine, and then I let it churn through those levels, and it will automatically earn me all those chests. And when it runs out of tokens, it just stays, because it didn't meet all of the requirements to reset, because in an event free play you have to have the tokens to reset. So because it doesn't have the tokens, it'll just sit and then just push deep on that last run. So when you check on it, it may, instead of being at 51 and resetting, it may be at like 300 because it just kept pushing on its own. Now, the thing to keep in mind there, though, is if you hit a threshold for it to start up another event because it has enough tokens, it will then automatically reset. So if you're real close to having another 2,500 tokens, you can just let it run and it'll still automatically reset itself. Why isn't my core putting my champions on the field and leveling them up? Because your core doesn't do that. Those are your familiars. So again, these are two separate systems for automation. Familiars automate buying a champion and leveling them up, as we see here. They'll automate your click damage, leveling up your click damage. They'll automate clicking on the field, and they'll automate firing off familiars, or firing off ultimates. But your core only automates these three things. So you get to set the formation you use with your specializations, and if you'll notice, it does include the familiars here. You get to set the area goal that you want to reset on, and you get to set the buffs that you want to apply on your runs. That's it. So you have to have a core and familiars to have it do full hands-off runs for you. Hey, look at that. We get our little pop-up. Do Briv skips count towards core XP? They do. However, the last we checked, it doesn't show it right away. So for those of you who don't know what's going on, Briv is a champion right here, or right now. He has a mechanic where he skips a level. So when you complete a level, he has a chance to jump past one or more levels. And when he does that, he leaps through the screen and you land somewhere further. In some cases, he doesn't grant you credit for things like completing levels for patrons, but for core XP, it does grant you that experience. Now, it doesn't grant it to you right away. Usually you have to complete that run and reset, and then it dumps it in at the end. That may be something that has to get updated. I'm not sure, but it is counting them currently, last I checked. And should I get my second core right away? Folks, I don't even have my second core right away. So, not necessarily. You are the master of your gems and how you earn and spend them, so prioritize how you want to spend them on your own. I don't think we have core stuff in the gems visual aid that Mars made. That's !GVA in the chat if you're watching live. That'll get you to that. But I think we talk about most other things. But basically, the idea is make your own decisions. Figure out, use your information and use it wisely. You can come over here. It is 500,000 gems. You can come over here and preview what it looks like. So you can get a look at what this other core looks like. Apparently the scroll out feature doesn't work in the preview. But you start with this one. It starts all the way at the top. And you don't get automation right away. So you got to keep this in mind. You got to get to level 3. You got to complete level 3 to even start automation on this other core. Now, you do get a lot of crazy different setups here with multipliers and whatnot in ways that you haven't seen in the other one. But you get a lot of the same endpoint nodes. Now, it is my understanding that this one has potentially a little more gold find, and the starter core has potentially a little more damage. We will most likely get more cores added over time. This is just the second one. They call it the strong chord. So they will all be different. And they will have different features. Who knows what kind of features they might add to them in the future. So that is what we are going on with the kind of preset tutorial. From this point on, I'm going to pull up. Let's hope people have asked questions. I'm going to pull up, hopefully, all the questions from chat and go over those. So, hey, I'm seeing GVA in chat. Hey, I'm finally seeing chat for the first time, folks. I see a note from Sasha. Thank you, Sasha. That says most of the questions that were asked were answered by the chat right after. Chat's great. Chat's great. But let's try to answer whatever's in here. And if you want to get your answer on question and answer in the actual video, because these will be going up on the YubTubs over on YouTube, the CNE YouTube channel. For people in the future, go ahead and fire away. Ball guy from BX, I'm assuming that's Bronx. Can you start explaining hidden 10x buff to increase flow? Hidden 10x buff? I'm not aware of what that is. Maybe you can clarify. Maybe I'm missing something. This might be one of those things that has to do with the way your flow multiplies when you put it in, like we have that 3 in, 1 out that I showed, where you went from starting at 10% up to 333%. But currently, if you're seeing numbers change somewhere, probably not working correctly. Let me see if we see a... Oh, let me see if this is a clarification. Since the combination of branching from a component that has more than one outflow and rejoining into a component from more than one inflow gives a 10 times bonus to power increasing the rejoining component, it will be the focus and starting point of the... Oh, this is from someone's guide. I don't know if that's a feature or a bug. So I'm not necessarily going to go into that. Yeah. See somebody in chat saying the hidden 10x buff was a bug that got fixed. So there you go. Again, if something is ever working in the game differently than what you think it's supposed to work, submit a ticket. At worst, you get a clarification from Sean or someone else on the Codename Entertainment team, letting you know exactly how that feature works. At best, it's a bug, and they get to go try to squash it, and that's great. Can you show your gem farming formation again and explain why you use that formation? Ooh. Yeah, we can do that. Hold on. Again, build out your formation however you want. This is not something necessarily that you prioritize. For me, what I look for my gem farming formation is as many speed champions as makes sense for the mission I'm on. This is specifically Mad Wizard. Mad Wizard has a variety of enemy types, and it also has some things that are what I call barricades to your progress, which are hit-based things like, yeah, wow, game, thank you, like that strange orb that you have to hit repeatedly. Those can slow down your progress. So I build a combination team that tries to attack both of those things at once. So I have Havelar in with her first Imps out. These are Dembo and Mott. They give Havelar a speed-up mechanic that doubles credit for things whenever you're killing Imps. There are fiends. There are fiends in Mad Wizard, not everywhere, but they're here enough that she can make pretty quick work of things. I have currently Shandy in here. Shandy is a speed champion. When she has that little purple arrow to the right, she is speeding up the formation by varying amounts depending on how you've got her. Right now, I want to say she's at 50. Yeah, speed by 50% when you haven't been under attack for 60 seconds. So she has all the speed right now. I have Sentry in. Sentry reduces, as long as Sentry hasn't been attacked, Sentry reduces your requirements for your quests. Up here, you'll see 0 of 17 monsters killed instead of 25. And then we have Melf. Melf does a variety of things. We'll see what Melf's on right now. Melf is currently creating extra spawns, but can also increase enemy spawn speed like Deacon, and can also increase your quest drops, much like Havelar's aforementioned speed-up mechanic. And it rotates basically every 50th area. So depending on what you get from him, like if you stack the increased quest drops and you're on Fiends and Havelar's doing that as well, suddenly you're just finishing something like that. So we do that combination. I've got Deacon. Deacon speeds basically as long as you're killing things quickly, which we are. He ramps up the spawn speed, which is why things are just kind of flying in and dying super fast. I have Minsk. I need to update this. What I actually want is Farida. So let me update my formation live. Overwrite, boom. So what I want here, Minsk does have a small speed up mechanic. He can give you a small chance to actually, he has a very small chance to spawn an additional enemy. Melf is much better at that when he hits that phase. So Melf is really all I care about there. So going into the rest of the champions, we have then Farida, Binwin, Hitch, and Birdsong. These are all multi-attack champions. So Farida, as you just see, fires out multiple balls of fire. Binwin can ramp off multiple hits against things that have segmented health. Birdwin gets multiple... Or Birdwin. Birdsong has multiple attacks and a very fast cooldown for her attacks. So she's basically always attacking when it's something that has segmented health. And then Hitch can throw multiple daggers, and they can bounce multiple times. So I have this combination of speed and multi-hit champions so that when I do get to one of those roadblock kind of barricade type situations, I can fly right through those, because familiars will only click on something like that once every 6 seconds. Not per familiar, just flat once every 6 seconds. So while these familiars are killing everything out here instantly, and my champions do not matter at all for this normal stuff, when I get to one of those barricade levels, that's where all the champions and their multi-hit come in play, and I just fly right through anything that has multiple hits. So if you are trying to build out and grind your Modron core, we'll tie this into what we're doing, building a kind of a combination like this, you don't have to have these exact same champions. Use whatever speed champions you have and whatever multi-hit champions, and then fill in the rest. It doesn't always have to be perfectly optimal. For me, this flies through a lot. There are some people that like to throw Briv in, and then they want to push a little further than their actual click damage wall so that he gets hit, which builds up his stack so that then he jumps. It adds a level of complication that I don't mess with. I just want super fast, as fast as possible all the time with these. My Briv levels are also not super high, so if he was super high, then I might care. So that is my Mad Wizard farming formation. Yours may vary. As long as you're on Mad Wizard and farming, you're better off farming gems on Mad Wizard using click damage than you would be in just about any other free play. So you're good. Let's go to another question from the chat. Oh, that was from Joshua, by the way. Dead Air 3. Once you get your strong core, which core do you use for which party? So I don't have mine yet. But again, from what I've been told by the people who have unlocked it and pushed and leveled it up, it is a little more... one is a little more gold fine, one is a little more damage. So put them where you need them. If you don't have your automation set up yet, like if you haven't got to level 3 on your strong core, then obviously you don't want that one where you're automating things. You do still want to level it up quickly, so you may have to do 3 levels worth of manual Mad Wizard resets to try to get that leveled up fast, or you can just let it sit in the background and level up slowly. It's kind of up to you. Once you get them both maxed out, then you can have one in each, and then swap around based on what you're trying to do. If one gives more gold find, then swap into that one when you're specifically gold farming, and then damage to push, right? You can swap these in and out and mix them, even on the same run. Use whatever you need to do. Self-destruct king. How does one access the Modron stuff? Is that only for folks who have been playing long enough to have 2x heroes? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So that is, like we said at the beginning, this little adventuring parties button will only show up if you have at least, I want to say they set the threshold at 8, at least 8 slots that have 2 champions or more in them. But you can't actually click it and do split the party, which would show up over here, until you have 2 in each slot. So 1 extra champion in each slot, so 24, minimum of 24. So this is a good thing if you really want to get your Modron core. Some people go, well, how do I get it the fastest possible? Well, you pay attention when you're doing a time gate to what slots you need to fill. Like if it's a natural time gate, like the one we have coming up as we film this Friday, you could then look at which of those 3 helps you flesh out your champion pool for 2 in each slot. When you do manual time gates, you can look for you can specifically pick one that would help you get closer to that goal if that is your goal. Again, that is up to you if you want to focus on unlocking Modron and multi-party faster than simply just building a solid group of champions. It's your game. Play it however you want. If you with events, you're just going to want to unlock everything anyway. But you can also plan your events ahead. You can go over to the wiki, the Reddit wiki. Specifically, I have everything listed out and which champions come with which events. Upcoming in year 4, you'll see the year 2, year 3, and the new year 4 champion. You won't necessarily know where that year 4 champion is coming in ahead of time, like what slot, but you can plan out where the year 2 and 3 are and know you'll getting them, and do things like that. Why is it called the Strong Core? Why not? I don't know. That's not a question I can answer. That's probably a Chris question or a Justin question. They're going to have the founders, I believe, on the Q&A for the dev stream tomorrow, as we're recording this tomorrow. So you can ask them there. They might have more insight into that. On automation, how do you get your characters to level on their own? Again, that is your familiars. You can't do it without familiars. Familiars are the automation feature that allow you to level up, buy and level up champions. So you have to combine familiars with your core automation to get fully hands-off automation. Otherwise, you're just going to have to swap over, level things up, swap back. Just kind of like you do if you're normally playing without familiars. It's the same thing. You just now have multiple parties that you have to do that on. Let's see. One of these I know we already answered. Not a very related question, but can you accidentally lock yourself out of getting certain patrons if you do something like go through the required adventures with a patron? No, that's not something you ever have to worry about. The wording in there is a little unclear, but basically what they're trying to say is you can only have one patron that you're doing adventures for at a time. Once you switch to a different patron, you can do those other adventures for them too. Somewhat related question: what would you suggest a free play for Torm's favor? I've been mostly doing Beast Intentions because Minsk. Dances with Owls, the question there is more, why are you farming Torm's favor? If you just need more fame, or usually just doing an adventure and pushing deep tends to be fine, unless there's something specific you're farming for. But Beast Intentions can work if you like Minsk. I tend to use Mad Wizard just because it's fast to get to the really deep levels, but it's going to vary based off your progression. How do I make the game run so quick? I just started today. Hurts you. That is basically speed champions. That's what you're seeing on this screen right now. You are seeing a combination of lots of speed champions, instant death of all the enemies by familiars, and multi-hit things for when it needs to chew through something that has segmented health or hit-based health. The game's not going to show me one of those right away again, is it? That'd be great. Does 48 have a barricade? No. Didn't get lucky. So yeah, this is speed. You can also add potions of speed, which will speed things up as well. So there are a variety of different ways to make things go faster in the game. This is just one of them. Self-Destruct King, is it possible to access more familiars than the 6 you can buy with gems without spending real cash? I'm noticing a lot of familiars can tend to be pretty expensive. I believe Mars just counted this on his stream. Let me go over. I only have, on my Gearless account, I only have the 4 first gem ones. And then, if you'll notice here, there would be a 5th with Boo. Then there are these super expensive ones at the end here. So here's the Raven, the Quasit, and Zorbo, not Zorbu. So there's 8 gem-based familiars. Now each patron also has a familiar in their shop. Oh, nope, that's WebGL, so the shop's still not super effective. Let me come down here. There are patrons down here at the bottom. They do cost quite a bit of currency, and you need a lot of influence to get them. But there are familiars down here. So the Golden Flame Skull for Mert. I believe it's a spider. Yep, Conjured Spider for Vajra. And then Strahd has the most adorable little toy werewolf. It's a Blinsky. So you can get all of those at no cost. No cash cost currently. And they have had at least one familiar in kind of a celebratory event like we have now. But that was a long time ago. I'm not sure if we're going to see any more like that. I don't know. I don't know what their plans for the future are. Let's see. Any suggestion for a formation using the 8 gem patron familiars that you could expect free-to-play players to have? Knowing there are still 3 more gem familiars available at more expensive rates. I mean, it's the same thing that you're seeing right here, right? If you just want to fully automate, but you only have a limited number, you could remove. You could put it so that it's only 5 on the field. If we remove Juniper here for a second, sorry, Ju. And we go over here, you'll see that the different numbers of familiars on the field to give you different things. The 6th one just kills distractions, so that's not necessary for a speed run. So you could put 1 on your click damage and 5 on the field, and then you would have 2 available to level up. 2 then available if you were looking at 8, if you had 8, to level up champions. So you would then just pick 2 champions. Again, if you're doing Mad Wizard, and depending on what champions you own, it might be Deacon and Shandy, or it might be Shandy and Havelar, or Shandy and Melf. I like Shandy because it's just a flat 30% to everything going, or 50% to everything going on. Or maybe you want to combine Shandy and Hitch, just so that you have something to chew through the multi-hit stuff. Ultimately, that's going to be your choice, right? Find the speed champion that you want to use, and I mean, you could even test to find out which one's going to speed you up the most. Melf needs lots of item levels and gear. Shandy just kind of does her thing. So it's going to vary. But you could still do a fast farming formation with just a couple champions if you are limited on familiars. How long have you been playing this game? I only have E7 Torm's Favor. Seeing E46 is super impressive. 46 now? Is that where I'm at? Oh, for E42. Close. Idle Champions is celebrating their 3rd anniversary right now, and so am I, basically. I started on the 19th, September 19th, 3 years ago, so I'm a couple days away. So yeah, 3 years. We didn't have a lot of the things that we have in the game now. The game has been slowly progressing over time, so everything you see on this main account has taken 3 years to get to. The major milestone I have for the 3rd anniversary is not only do I have epics on all my champions, but if I go to the collection, my collection is completely full now for every champion. So I have every piece, every single rarity and of every piece of gear for every champion that's currently out, up through and including Lazaps, our newest champion. That has been a long-term goal of mine. It took lots and lots of time gates. I specifically churned time gates to try to get the whites that I was missing. And then I just did like patron chests for a lot of the epics. So there are ways you can do long-term goals like this, but it's not necessarily something you do right away. Again, I didn't necessarily attempt to do it super fast, but I got there. Will you keep leveling the click damage all the way through a free play for favor? No, absolutely not. So with click damage, this level that you see down here is going to be roughly equivalent to the level that it will still kill something at up here. So this currently says 246. I'm in the 90s, so it's fine. I can keep leveling it. But if I were at 246, that would be the time I would start thinking about taking the Mage Hand off and putting it somewhere else. You can get potentially a little further if you have some health reduction things, or if you're in an event. Or you might not get as far in some things that have a higher health curve. But that is the rough rule for leveling your click damage. Click damage is meant to be more a start of the run booster to how quick you can kill things and clear the screen until you can get a bunch of champions out there and a tank. And then your formation is supposed to be what pushes you deep for favor. Hurts you, is it better for new players to use gems early or should I save them? Well, that depends. I see somebody loaded the gems visual aid into chat. That is basically what you want to click. That links to an image that Mars made in conjunction with me for kind of talks you through what gems do and what kind of things you want to think about to make your decisions. There isn't necessarily any right or wrong specifically way to spend your gems. There just might at times be a little more efficient a way. But usually early on you want to spend them on something to either make the game easier for you to play or to get you better progress, or both. So I am all caught up. I think everybody answered questions in chat while I was doing stuff, so we don't have a ton here for the wrap-up Q&A. So I am moving over to direct chat, and we'll just fire away with questions over here, if you have them. I know we can probably hop back in. Did I? See, now I have to double check. I did open my components. I just didn't get anything that was amazing. So I don't know that I necessarily can rebuild one of my buff boxes. The biggest opening that I have that I want to address is over here. Now, one of the things that I can do that, we didn't talk about, my bad, filters. So you have the ability to filter out all kinds of pieces. Now, don't freak out if nothing shows up. This is a bug. You just got to move this up here. You can filter out undirected. You can go to directed, multi-out, multi-in. You can just look at a certain rarity, and you can combine these in any way you want. But the best feature, the one I use the most, is down here. You can click off these little directions on pipes. And what I want is, I'm going to see what I've got in terms of this. To build a buff box over here, I want a 2 up with an exit to the right. And I have an up down, and then I've got 2 down. So this is why I haven't built out my buff box over here yet. So I still have to wait for that one. The other things that I can build are like up here, but I don't even know how I want to address that yet. I don't necessarily need flow over here. It's 24. Again, I would like an up to the left and a down in the right. So we did just say I have a down. Oh, but it's the arrow's the wrong way. Because I would want to go down, and I would want it to be in. So I would want a 2 in, 1 out. I don't have that here, unfortunately. Do I have the other side of this? I do. So I have the up and to the left, which would go right here. I have 2 of those. I just don't have the down with the in. And then this would actually become a buff box right here, which would be fantastic. But so you can filter pretty easily that way. And now I'm mad I didn't get that in the first part. High-level advanced features, folks. This is what you get for hanging out for the Q&A portion. Your E47 favor, E42 is total or just in one kind of favor? This is just, if you look here on the blessings, I have Torm's favor at E42. It's not up there because I've pushed deep. It's just up there because I dump all my events and time gates into it, usually. Kalimvor, which is the Tomb of Annihilation, that's E29. Helms is at E31. Tempest's, which is the event favor, I've gotten up to E41. I haven't converted that in. Tiamat's is E36. I actually was going to do, instead of going into Torm, I was going to go into Tiamat's with my event. Oh, we're all the way over here. Yeah, that'll get me to E37. I'm doing this because we're still not to the end of this, and I also want to do Tale of Two Champions, so I'm going to convert over here. This is going to convert, as you see, up into, I'm going to get E37 favor off of E36, because my favor is basically a 410%, as you can see here, boost. So we're going to take that. And maybe this week on my show on my channel, Twitch TV/Gaarawarr, we will attempt probably Tuesday to do maybe Tale of Two Champs. Maybe I'll have enough favor now. If I have 2 formations, why do you think I don't have... Oh, that's not a question. When it looked like one. When do you get your first Modron chord generally? specifically, you get your first core when you finish Split the Party. So when you first get this, once you reach 2 champions in each slot, minimum, you'll be able to do Split the Party here. The reward for Split the Party is your first core and 4 Modron chests. So you get it right then. You jump right into automation and getting those buffs, like I showed on the other account. I didn't have a brand new account that had, or a newish account that was at 24 to be able to show you Split the Party, but we may do that one day in the near future. Question for Grim: why is Chipway better than Strongman Contest? Oh, it's not necessarily always going to be better. So you want, Ball and Guy from the Bronx, you want to basically look at what's going to work best for the formation that you built, because they have buffs that are specifically based on formations. Sometimes it's going to be, a lot of people default to that, and it may be because the meta that they're running, the meta group they're running, it makes more sense. But if you're doing something that's different, then you want to adjust for it. Never just, when someone says, oh, always do this or pick that, if they're not explaining why, maybe don't take their advice, because there's got to be a reason why. There are only a handful of like champions that have specializations left that it's always one thing. Like always. And when we do usually say something like, always pick X, we should always be able to, I'm using always a lot, be able to answer why. So for instance, I have Hitch. I always, oh, we'd already passed it. I always pick his, I have this set up for more dagger. When I'm pushing, I always pick Charismatic. Because when I tested, using the specific feats that I have for him, this specific feat combination of coiled daggers and excess dagger storage, he gets the highest average and max damage and buffage out of using Charismatic. I have him in his extra daggers specifically here because I don't need damage. Because all I need to do is kill those barricades real quick. So even in that situation, you can say, oh, well, you always use Charismatic on Hitch. Well, except when all you care about is killing segmented health. There's never an always that's... nowadays, usually most of the things don't have an always. There's a reason why they're telling you that, but they're just not telling you the reason. So ask the reason. I have 3 spots left to open a Modron Chord. 2, 5, 11. Suggestions. Oof, I mean, pick what you want, but this is slot 2. I'm a big fan of Dinar as a swap. Celeste is who you have automatically. Regis is also solid. Korth and Kreidel are probably at the end of that, so probably between Dinar and Regis. I like the utility out of Dinar, whereas Regis is more of just a straight buffer debuffer. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count. Oh, Briv. Yeah. If you haven't picked up Briv yet, absolutely pick up Briv. You get Calliope as your base. But Briv is, he's a speed champ, but he's also a really solid tank. He heals himself in the party based off the damage he takes, so he's got a lot of utility and usage early, especially early on. And 11 is going to be, you get Jamila automatically, but 11 is going to be Averin here. Averin's the strongest, last I really checked the numbers, Averin's the strongest straight buffer in the game. Krull's the strongest debuffer and the strongest champion in the game, but Averin's the straight buffer, so in 11 you're going to want to go Averin, Trickster God. This is actually his one of his skins, Zombie Averin, so he'll look like this. Those would be my recommendations. I think most people would probably run with that, but your choice. Does Tiamat favor have any global blessings? Yes, all the blessings. Every campaign has blessings, and every campaign has global blessings. So Tiamat has 3 tiers of blessings currently, which is fine. We haven't gone super deep into Avernus yet. So the global is the first one, like in all the other ones, is a double damage. The second specifically refers to patrons. So if you don't have patrons yet, then it's not necessary. But once you get patrons, getting this second global is solid, and it makes it so that you don't have to run as many free plays every week. You know, that's nice. And then the third tier is Veterans of Avernus, which is basically one that ramps up damage over time as they add more Avernus adventures and variants. The maximum, like this one isn't a high priority either, because you really, to maximize it, you want to have all the patrons and be able to do all of that content to get that big buff. But I had far more than enough to purchase that, so there you go. So how many slots are there? There are 12, which is why 24 is the minimum number of champions you need, with 2 in each slot to unlock both multi-party mode and Modron automation. I'm catching up in chat. Oh, have you gotten the new items from the patron shop? Peter Pete, I did. Slightly. Ooh, we actually have hide unavailable items, so you can do that real quick. I did buy what was available to me, which specifically were the GEs. So I picked up Dragonbait Shield. I didn't have a shiny on that slot, so I didn't get anything back. But I got the Epic Vola's Guide, and I had a shiny on that, so I got a push and a polish back for that GE. And then the Epic Alcoria Watchful Order Staff, I had a shiny on that, so I got a push and a polish back. So that was super nice. That's like the best way to get a GE. And these are the kind of the first GEs you've ever been able to buy with in-game currency, so yay year 3. The other things that they added while we're here, I always do that. We have this gem item tab, which I haven't bought anything from here because I'm saving up my gems for that second core. However, you get the skin for Gromma. Oh, I did say I was going to buy this. All right, we're opening it. We're doing it. And a skin for Daddy, Lich Daddy. Hashtag Lich Daddy. Let me get this. Oh, here he is. I already had his champion skin on him, which is somewhat close, as people have noted. It's got a bit of a fur ruffle, and it's got the green action, but I mean, that's what a ranger's going to have, right? But this one is markedly warmer. Look at all that fur. Man, his blades look cool, too. Got that little back cut. Yep, all right. So they introduced all 5 of the Companions of the Hall have an Icewind Dale skin. Now, obviously, when this resets, it's going to pull him out, but that's fine. You can find those all in the shop. Where's it? Under packs. You can do the pack, which gives them all. Or you can buy them. You can buy that one here, or you can pick up. Oh, wait. Oh, it is in the pack, too. Yeah, they have them individually. So, like, here's Brunor's. And it comes with... If you buy them this way, they come with feats. The feats are pretty neat. But this way... Oh, it is just the Dritz thing. So Dritz isn't in the pack because you buy him from the store. So I guess he doesn't have a feat? Dritz feat win? Yeah, these are pretty neat, though. I think this one's my favorite. 120% damage on Caddy Bree. A lot of people use her as a support, but she's a solid swap for DPS in some situations, so that's going to be super nice for that. We also got Founders Pack 3. This one's getting bought. I mean, a Pirate Jarlaxle skin. Even before the fact that there's 5 shinies and a Hedgehog, Pirate Jarlaxle is getting my money. Also not noted here, but I believe if we're holding true to all Founders Packs, all private Founders Packs, there is a gem boost that you get for those purchases that raises the amount of gems you earn from all your gem farming from everything off boss kills for a few days. That's super nice. That will help me, most likely. I'm at 355,000 gems, so that should help me close in on that 500,000 mark. Is the patron shop different? I mean, it's a little different, right? You can only use the patron currency, and you're limited to the amount of patron currency you can earn at any given time. So you get some from completing variants, and you get some from doing free plays, but you only get a max of 5,000 from free plays. And then you get some from doing these challenges every week, which is why people focus on them so much. So you get to buy epic potions, Modron chests. That's really the big thing. A time gate piece, you can buy those. Those are the huge purchases. I think every week I buy my time gate piece and my Modron component chest. And then these are one-offs for feats. Potion of polish. There's the champion Drit skin. There's the Siren Knight Warden. All the patrons have a couple different skins. And you actually have access to like a starter pack, which gets you currency, supply chests, and then patron chests. And then you can get certain skins, like the Devil Farida skin, which is pretty hot. Yeah, I went there. So yeah, patron shop's a little different. Sorry for all the noob questions, but I like this game and need to know. No, hey, we're here to answer all the questions. Let's see. All right. Got to check my time. So usually, like again, this was a more focused Gaarawarr's guide, specifically for multi-party and Modron automation. So if you have more questions about that, fire away. If you don't, then I'm going to just assume I covered everything correctly. Don't feel my ego there, folks. Just ask me questions. Tomorrow we're not ending the stream. I'm just pointing things out. Tomorrow there will be the Idle Champions dev stream in the afternoon. Before that, though, we're starting, a bunch of us in the community are starting the Gaarawarr challenge, which Mars and I combined our energies to come up with a new kind of challenge account thing for more veteran players to engage in and have fun. You can find the information on Reddit. But I will be starting my stream of that tomorrow morning, or, well, morning-ish, depending on where you live, I guess. And then at the end of that stream, we're going to raid. We're going to raid CNE. And then Friday morning, you have Griddle Champions, as always. And then I will be back with my usual Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything, which, if you haven't been here before, if you're newer, Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything is usually just shotgun Q&A. From the start, whatever questions you're asking in chat is what I'm trying to address. Any topic is fair game, which is kind of what we're to the point on here if people don't have more questions about multi-party Modron. Another thing that confuses me, what is the main use for Delina's specialization? Ooh, boy. Somebody went there. All right. So let's load Delina in. So Delina's specializations are Font of Magic and Tides of Chaos. So if we read them, we kind of get an idea of what they're doing. I'm not so much worried about the flavor here. I want to look down here. So Font of Magic increases the effect of Delina's empowered spell ability by 200%. And Tides of Chaos increases the effect of Delina's Surge of Power ability by 100%. So what we want to do to figure out what's going on here is we want to go look up empowered spell and Surge of Power. So we open up her information in the UI. Right away, Surge of Power increases the damage of Delina by 10% each time they attack, up to a max of 10 stacks. Stacks reset after 10 seconds after reaching max stacks. Not if blah, blah, blah. Right. The main part is the increases the damage. Empowered Spell is whenever she attacks, there's a 50% chance that the spell burns for an additional amount of damage over time. This amount is based off my item level. It's affected by my item level, as we can see over here with her Cape of Protection. I've got, again, 3 years. Delina is evergreen, so she has outrageous item levels. So, if we look back, Empowered Spell adds a dot. Surge of Power, it just increases her damage overall. So that means Font of Magic, which buffs Empowered Spell, basically makes her dot bigger. So basically a 200% means you're getting a triple whatever the dot is, which is a follow-up amount of damage. Whereas Tides of Chaos is giving you double her base damage. Because of the way the game currently functions relating to base ultimate damage, or BUD, I choose to run Tides of Chaos because I want to maximize her actual base damage. Because that's going to set my BUD down here. And then BUD is what is used for all of my ultimates, and it's also used for Fire Breath potions. So I usually go to max out BUD. Now, if for some reason I didn't care about BUD and I just wanted to burn things, I would come over here. But yeah, generally speaking, I tend to go with Tides of Chaos. Just know that this is basically ramping up her upfront damage that adds to Bud, whereas Font of Magic is ramping up her dot damage, which does not add to Bud. So choose, but choose wisely. Let's see. So a patron is a champion. No. No. Champions are unlockable down here. These are things you can put in your formation. A patron is a very powerful figure, lore-based figure from the Forgotten Realms, accessed up here. Mert the Moneylender from the Elminster books, Vajra Safar. She is in Waterdeep. We actually have it over here. She is the Blackstaff, the High Wizard of Waterdeep. Strahd von Zarovich from Barovia. So they basically are showing up as super powerful figures because if they made them a champion, they would basically be super overpowered and destroy everything. And why would you use anything else? So instead, they are granting bonuses to you and sending you out on errands. So they have perks that they give you that you have to earn through influence and spending that influence to level them up. There's local perks that help you complete their challenges and their variants, and there's global perks that apply everywhere. They give you access to a shop to buy all kinds of powerful, strong, fun things, and then they give you challenges each week. We call them patron chores because I don't know. At higher end, they're not necessarily a challenge; they're just a time sink. But they get you patron currency, which we all like because we like to spend on things like Modron chests and time gate pieces and, patron chests if we're leveling up gear. You said a few months ago that you didn't like Jamila as a champion. Did I say that? She's not as strong a DPS champion as she used to be. She used to be a really kind of high tier, but then we had lots of event champions roll in and suddenly we had event champions kind of usurp her. She still has a role, but she likes to be near tanks. So she's good in a formation that has a lot of tanks. Or she likes to have real big shields because she gets buffed based off the amount of shield that's on her. So she's got some finicky requirements that don't make her necessarily the top tier DPS bruiser that she used to be. But she could still hang in certain variants. There are times when you're not going to be able to use your favorite champions, and that's why you have others, and you keep them geared up and learn how to use them. What is a GE? A GE stands for Golden Epic. So we see one right down here. Like an epic, this is an epic, which is just your purple border. It's pretty normal. But when it has... Oh. Get out of the way. Wait. Do not stomp on that. Okay. When it has the purple border, but then it has the golden kind of interior, that is a golden epic. And then this is a shiny. So it's got that silver interior. This I call bronze. But normal epic, shiny epic, golden epic. Shinies give you a 50% boost to the power of the item based off its item levels. So normally that 671.6 that's down there for his Troubadour troop buff would be lower than that because he got that boost. So it would be, in the 400 and something range normally. But because he's got the 50% boost from the shiny, which is a guild on the item slot, he gets the bonus, and then a golden takes it up by 100%. So it's kind of better seen in the collections. As you'll note, there's a line around the outside of these. There's a silver line around these because it's shiny, and there's a golden line around these. So once you either shiny or guild or golden that slot, no matter what it was before, it will always be as you level up. So like if you were to get a shiny white item, because shinies just drop randomly from things or come from potions of polishes. If you were to shiny a white item, as you upgrade that item, it stays shiny. Currently, gold is only ever applied on an epic. Most have been in the past purchases for cash. A couple were rewards for things, and now we have 3 in the patron shop. Let me catch up with chat here. We got about 13 minutes left, so fire away whatever questions you have. I will try to catch up and answer for you. Are there any examples of community ideas for champions and or the way a champion play in the game? I do know that obviously people have been giving feedback on champions for a very, very long time. There's even a fan design forge in the Discord. I do not know if any of those ideas have made it into the game in one way or another. That is a good question for the developers. Again, that might be a Justin question tomorrow or a Chris question at some point in the future. Also, was Pirate Jarlaxle your idea? I'm not saying they put in Pirate Jarlaxle for me. However, I will say I am a huge fan of pirate skins, and at some point in the past I've said, why the hell is there not a Pirate Jarlaxle? Because, I mean, he's got his own submarine. Come on, spoilers. So let's see, what else we got? This is more of a lore question. Is it ethical to use the core of living Modrons to automate your progress? First off, who says they're alive? Maybe these are things that we destroyed during the Great Modron March and we have repurposed. We don't know. That's all I can go there, because we don't know. It was a good show. I love this format. Looking forward to the next topic. Oh, thanks, Speller Boss. Appreciate it. Yeah, we do have, this is the new show. This is the first run, special edition of Gaarawarr's Guide, is what we're just referring it to, because it's two specific topics every week. This will normally be on Saturdays at 9 a.m. The VOD will be on Twitch, but it's also, more importantly, going to be ported over to YouTube, so that if people ever have questions about specific topics, there is a straightforward and easy way to direct them to help. So by being here, watching the show and asking questions, you are helping future players of Idle Champions, because your questions are probably the same as their questions. See, people are trying to put the evil code in chat. No, that'll get you timed out, folks. It's evil for a reason. I think it's the evil code specifically because it gets you timed out when you try to enter it in a chat. How does havelar spawn with imps? So, I'm both glad you asked and mad you asked, because now this is kind of a weird potential bug that Mars pointed out on one of his streams, and now they might fix it. You do have to have your upgrade set to X1, well, to anything other than upgrade. When it resets the adventure. If for whatever reason, if it's on upgrade, she loses her imps. But if it's on like X100, which is usually where I have it, when it resets and restarts, she comes out with her imps there. I don't know. It's one of those situations where I don't necessarily find it egregious, so I just run with it. Now they're probably going to fix it. Thanks, Sean. Who are the champions that can shield? Oh, there's more than people think, usually. Ooh. The normal one that you think of is that you start off right away is Calliope. Calliope can shield within two slots of herself if someone within 2 slots takes damage. Or if you use her ultimate, she fires off a shield for everyone. That's kind of the big group one. Korth also has a way where if, through his marked enemies ability, if a champion attacks someone that he's marked, they can gain a shield. That's very specific, though. If we want to talk about some of the others, let me just make sure I'm not forgetting anyone, and I probably will anyway. Because sometimes it has to do with not their basic abilities, but their ultimates. So, I think the first one that I can remember off the top of my head that works that way is going to be Walnut. Chat will correct me if I'm missing someone, though. Yeah, so Walnut, her ultimate, Forest Friends, it spawns just tons and tons and tons of little woodland creatures. They flood the entire screen and they hit everything. You get one of 2 things from that. You either get heals based off everything you're killing, or you get shields for your whole party based off what you didn't kill. You can actually give it a pretty big full party shield that way. It does require, using her ultimate, though. Outside of that, Ayla has a self shield, so that doesn't help for Jamila. Barrowin can provide shields either for people in the same column or the column in front of her at half value based off one of her upgrades for her healing word. Like occasionally it will pop a shield instead of a heal. Wolfgar shields himself. And Tyrell shields himself. And off the top of my head, I can't remember if there's any other champions that shield other people. So I think it's mainly Calliope, Korth, and Walnut. But someone will correct me if I'm wrong. Usually for that kind of stuff, I write it down in these little guides called Gaarawarr's Guide to Insert Whatever here. They're on the Reddit. I do that just so that I have something to reference. And fortunately, it lets you reference them as well. But yeah, I'd have to go through all 68 champions and double check. But I think that's most of them. 9 a.m. on Saturday. You have fun with that, Gart. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I don't live in the Pacific time zone, so it's going to be a little later for me here, but still. All right, let's see if anybody else has any last-second questions, because we are coming up on the end of a full day of Idle Champions streams in celebration of the 3rd anniversary. So make sure you're updating your client. Make sure you're clicking on this little box up here, claiming your chest. I already got mine today. I get another one tomorrow. If you get 4 out of the 7, you will get to claim 5 gold chests, a snowy click damage skin, and this awesome new skin for Tyrell, which is Mooserel. If you didn't see it earlier on stream, the moose is loose, folks. He is a big boy. He a real big boy. I can't wait. Sorry for the late question. Is there a reason to put speed champs on the automated party? Absolutely. If you're doing it, Meancab, if you're automating in your active party, which is allowed. A lot of people think automation is for the background. No, automation is for wherever you want it to be. If you're automating your foreground party, like I'm doing right now on stream, your speed champions run through real quick, get you lots of levels for your Modron core, which helps to level it up, and then the Modron core resets it for you. And then in the background party, you can just throw, like what I have here. I have a party that doesn't have speed champions in it. That's just doing, a push in the background, earning me some gems and whatever else I wanted to do. That was just an example party, so it wasn't specifically doing anything. Oh, actually, no, I think that's a variant, isn't it? I'll have to go back over and actually fix that so it finishes the variant. But yeah, the speed boost isn't active when it's in the background, but I'm using my speed champions in the foreground. Yeah, the key is the ones that shield other people, specifically for use with Jamila, are like Calliope, Korth, Walnut, and Barrowin. The self-shielders like Tyrell and Ayla and Wolfgar, they're not going to help. They're not going to help Jamila out. Jamila needs shields. Should look at gold chests in the gem shop. Oh, I am aware. I guess we'll show everyone. Oh, no, this is not the gem shop. Gem items. If you want to buy a gold chest, folks, you come to the gem item shop. Click on it. They give you a slider that just keeps going and going and going. All the way up to 100 if you want. I'm not buying that many. I'm not going to buy any because I'm only 144,040 gems away from my second core. But yeah, you can now buy up to 100 gold chests at once for gems. Whew, so nice. So nice. After seeing your mouth buff, what do you have on his book slot 4? Ooh. I mean, I have a golden, if that's what you want. I only have 94 on his item levels, but I did pick up the golden epic. That was off of a weekend promotion. So now Now you'll have to find that. Hey, Lulu. Lulu, come back over here. That's it. You go back over there. Oh, dang. So on active, you generate Modron levels faster. Yeah. Because you get all the speed benefits. You can even throw speed potions in and just churn to level up your Modron core. And just do your deep pushes that maybe you're not in a hurry on in your background. And just check in every now and then on that one and level up your characters if you don't have more familiars. Whatever you need to do. But it can be a slow burn in the background. And also, once you hit level 15 on your Modron core, you can throw it in the background. Use it wherever you want because you don't need levels for it. Going to buy the next Founders Pack and grind for the gems with the gem buff. I am, our Green Paradox. Oh, man. I knew I wouldn't really be able to get use out of that buff on stream today. Well, I didn't think I would. I figured I might have to be doing lots of things for multi-party Modron, but it wasn't. I did that on my other one. So yeah, after this, I will probably be picking that up and then burning lots of Mad Wizard levels just to try to get that last bit. I don't know if I can get it all while that gem buff lasts, but I'll get a lot. And yes, that buff should apply to both the active and the background parties. So if you do get a buff like that from the Founders Pack, try to make sure you're running both parties so you're maximizing it. And one moment, folks. Can't make it through a single stream without my allergies kicking in. I tried. We were almost there. We're literally a minute away. So, thank you all for coming to the first ever focused edition of Gaarawarr's Guide. We'll be back on Friday with Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything with unfocused, shotgun it out, whatever questions you want. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing yet. I know we're just 3rd anniversary celebration, so we'll go over some of the stuff again for people, and then we'll knock something out. And then Saturday, ooh, can I talk about the topic? No, you know what? No, I'm not. Tune in Saturday, 9 a.m. for a new edition of Gaarawarr's Guide with a focus tutorial that I still have to write between now and then. 3 streams in 1 week, folks. Plus, tomorrow is Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow early in the morning, if you want to follow me down at twitch.tv/Gaarawarr, I will be starting off the Marzawar Challenge, officially kicking it off on stream, playing through the tutorial. So me and Tutorial Dwarf will be hanging out, and I will be opening up tons of chests from all of the chest codes from today and whatever's still active from the last however amount of time. We'll be trying to come up with that list. I think it's on the wiki, so we'll see what we have. And we'll have some fun doing that before we raid the CNE dev stream, which will have the founders, I believe, on stream answering questions about the game. So that's one you don't want to miss. They are not often on stream because they're usually too busy. So thanks for stopping by, everyone. Have a great night, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.